Okay, guys. If you can't tell, got my MXR in. It's kind of funny. You know, I am 100% about supporting your local store. One, they allowed me to take a 10-band EQ home. It was Sonic Cake. It was a decent one. You can go back and watch the video on that. I thought it was pretty cool. And I just noticed this is the camera that I'm using to look at the MXR. And that is quite bright. So we're going to turn that off. Still working on lighting situation. The lighting now seems to be a little better. I haven't bought a new fixture. So I moved the fixtures forward and they're bouncing light off the wall. So now it doesn't look like I'm, down in a hole. Hopefully the audio is pretty good. I did notice on the last stream, everyone said the reverb was weird. And I thought that was peculiar because I had checked the guitar beforehand and the guitar sounded fine. I did have something misaligned on the wing rack. So I'm hoping tonight the guitar will be right. I did go back and listen to the other stream. That the guitar, in my opinion, sounded awful. We were creating a loop. So the wing rack was sending to the interface to the computer, and then the computer was sending that back to the wing rack, and that channel was on back through the interface, and it was creating a loop. So hopefully I've got that figured out. It's a completely new system, so give me a couple weeks to get my head around it. And that being said, I want to show you guys some things when we do our next guitar review. Check this out. I have been working for months trying to figure out how to use DaVinci Resolve and VSDC together and create video effects to where you'll still be able to see me but put overlays in. This was working, so I'm gonna try it one time. So when we do a guitar review and we want to go over fit and finish, I wanted this to go on. Now you can still see me in the background, okay? So when we do the fit and finish, that would come up. I don't have them all programmed, so we'll go to weight. Pretty cool. Neck specs. Pickup readings. And that one, that one I need to do a little more work on. It's not fading out properly. It's taking too long. So I have been working very diligently, guys, on creating all new parameters for the stream. I really want to take this channel and make it good. Not just the visual. I think the video quality now is top notch, but I want the interaction there. It's not that I dislike doing pre-recorded reviews. I can do all that. What I'm trying to do is a review live and still be able to get picture-in-picture and things like that. I don't have the picture-in-picture thing worked out yet, but I'm working on it. I do want to go over my sound on my guitar. I did tinker around with some new clean sounds. Yep. So we got a new clean sound. I'm trying to create sounds to where when we do reviews, you need to be able to hear the guitar, but at the same time, you do want a little bit of effects in it. So this right here is just reverb. It's pretty much all guitar. I'm trying to really let the guitar shine. It seems like it's just a little hot. I'm really trying to create something that lets the guitar tone come out so you can hear what the guitar sounds like. I think that's pretty close. I think it's a little loud, but I think it's letting the tone of the guitar come out. It's got that's a good sound. Now, tonight, since we've got a nice, really even sounding clean tone, I want to open up the new toy. And that brings me back to what I'm saying, support your local store. So my local store let me take a Sonic cake home, okay? That Sonic cake was $35. So we used it here for a couple different streams. If anyone wants it, it's at Shandor Music. I returned it. Now that was a used product. Paid 35 bucks for it. I told them, look, I'll use this, but I really want the MXR. And you guys know when I ordered it. Well, they're a smaller store, so they have to wait for their buy-in, okay? When they got enough orders, the order went in, and voila, okay? So this is the MXR 10-band EQ. Now, when I got the Sonic cake, it did not come with a wall wart to power this. Now, if you're into pedals, most likely you already have a power supply and, you know, you've got tons of power. I don't really use pedals. So I've got the pedal over here. Let's turn this on. I got my tuner right here. And then I have my IR pedal, you know, for my rack. And a couple pedals up top. I got a TS9. A Joyo chorus, and a Joyo digital relay. So I don't really use pedals. I'm more of a rack guy. And now I guess computer, you know, plugins. All that being said, we're talking about pickups and guitars and making a guitar sound a certain way and boost pedals. This is the best way of pushing the front of your amp, okay? It's a EQ and a boost. If you just want to use it as a boost, turn up the gain. It takes your stock guitar signal and pushes it harder into the amp, which if you got a JCM 800 or something with that, you know, it's a little hot on the preamp, it'll give you that extra bite. That being said, you can also fine-tune your guitar and really make the guitar sound better. I've said it a million times. You know, you can call it cheating. Some people go, oh, you're taking this $200 guitar and you're running it through a $5,000 or $6,000 rack. If you've got a pick and you're playing, put your money in your amplifier. Believe me. If you've got a really crappy amplifier, it's not going to matter if you have a $7,000 Gibson or a $200 budget guitar. You're not going to hear it. But you'll be surprised how good you can make that lower cost instrument sound through a really nice amplifier. So when people ask me, I always want to go that direction. Now I got to unmute Linnell because I just noticed she is muted. So go ahead, honey.
Nick has a MXR KFK 10 band. He said great pedal.
I don't know what this one is. This one is the M1008S.
And Mike said his MXR 10 band from the 80s had a direct AC plug.
Oh, wow. Now, I will say this. If you look at your pedal, I haven't opened this one up. So I'm assuming this one's probably 9 volt. Your 16, 17, 18 volt input pedals will have a higher headroom, and they usually sound much better because of that input voltage. It doesn't have to convert it as much. It adds a little bit of headroom.
Mike said best way to fix a pickup tone.
Exactly. And that's what I got this for. Because, you know, sometimes you just want to shape our sound a little bit. You can make your single coil sound a little fatter. You can thin out a humbucker, make it sound more like a single coil. You know, if you're in a band, something like this, if you're on, let's say, a high gain channel, and you want to hit something to kind of push your guitar through the mix for your lead, you can do a little tweaking on the EQ, boost it out, and between the boost, the extra gain hitting the front of the amp and the EQ, you can really separate your lead tone. So I want to open this thing up and see what you get when you buy an MXR. Honey, do we have the ticket? How much was this thing? I think it was like 135 bucks.
I don't remember.
You
ended up paying, I think it was 120 something.
Yeah, but I had $10 credit.
Right.
So when you buy my local store, as you buy, you earn points. So today when I went in, I had $10 in points. So.
Well, it must have been more than that because what you paid for the other one went towards that also.
Oh, right. So it was 128 plus 35 plus $10 in points. You know, I know they're expensive. It's MXR. So here's the pedal. And it came in this little plastic bag. And it's a full metal case. It's brushed. Switch feels good. So inside the box they give you a sticker. Looks like we got some little rubber feeties to go on the bottom of it. Quick start guide. I don't know what that is. Thank you for making your Dunlop part of your signal chain. And what I like about it, when you buy this, now this is what I was saying. A lot of people, when you have pedals, you already have an independent power supply. But if you're just adding it to your system, you don't have any pedals, it does come with the power supply for this pedal. So let's open that up. And I was actually surprised to see that because right before the stream I told Linnell, I'm like, you know, I don't really use pedals. So hopefully we can find a power supply that's acceptable for this thing, but it comes with one. So, you know, I'm a firm believer. I've really started to change a little bit. I'm a firm believer, buy once, cry once. MXR and Boss, both, they're pretty much indestructible. I have friends that have Boss pedals that are 30 years old. They have stomped on them, spilled beer on them, thrown them, dropped them. Same with MXR. they're just built really well. So you do get what you pay for when it comes to pedals. And I think Boss and MXR, both of them, really well-made equipment. So the only thing I want to do to this, we've got everything out of the box. It was well packaged. I am going to put the little feeties on the back of it. Okay, if you're putting this on your board, you're probably going to put some Velcro on it for your board. But I'm not really a pedal guy, so we're just going to put the little feeties on it. And that's going to be fine for me because I am just using this to shape my signal before it goes into the line 6 stomp. That's all we're going to use it for. And I'm just putting these little guys right on the corners. Just like that. And it does, I like stickers. I used to stick these stickers on my guitar case. If you look at my PV guitar case, I got Dean Markley Cold Blue Steel stickers on it. I've got a couple music stores like Rolls, all kinds of different stickers on it. I was really into that, you know. Buy something, Digitech. I got some Digitech Studio stickers from my rack mount days when I ran Digitech Studio. So I think that's kind of cool. They give you a little sticker. I know it's not much, but I think it's cool. I actually got a sticker with my Mini Pro, my Black Magic, come with a sticker. You can stick it on your rack cases. All right, oh, I forgot a bag. So I am gonna have to crawl under the desk to plug this thing in. Get some power. So let me unwind the cable here. And just like anything else, guys, this is how we review a product. We want to unbox it, plug it in. We're guys. We're not necessarily going to read the directions. We're just going to plug it in, see how user-friendly it is, and play with it. And I'm going to set it over here. I am going to have to crawl underneath here, I think, to get some power. Where is my power? Hold on one second, guys. Okay, we do have power now. Ooh, it's got some real pretty LEDs. Let me flip this over. You guys can see the cool looking LEDs that we have. That's actually pretty cool. Check that out. It's much more, for you guys it looks very bright in here, but in reality it's kind of dark. I don't know if you can see that. They're very bright. Okay, so now we got to, this is my guitar. So we're gonna plug the guitar in right there. And then I guess I need a cable to go from out into my tuner. So here's my out. I'm going to assume that we're going to use out 1. So out 1, we're going to run this directly into my strobe stomp. You can see now we have our mute. So let's unmute it. All right. So I'm assuming when you hit this and this turns off here, that's bypass. So when we turn this on, we're not changing the EQ setting. So let's just increase the gain. So it is working as a boost. And then here we have volume. That's actually quite cool. So that's what I was saying earlier. If you just need a boost, you can use that gain on the pedal to hit the front side of that amp. Now, let's actually see what the pedal can do. I don't have picture-in-picture set up yet, guys. So normally, in the future, what I want to do is to have this camera angle in the corner right here. Okay, so bear with me as I learn the new computer, but we're just going to switch over to the other camera angle. Okay. So this is 31.25. Let's turn that all the way up. And that's about what I would say. 50 hertz is about where the guitar is living as far as the low signal. So we should hear a difference here. This is 62 point. Yeah, you can hear the extra low. Let's turn that one all the way down. I'm going to say let's bump that just a little bit, and let's bump up our 12.5 just a little bit. And I am going to really reduce this to take noise out of the mix, because the guitar really isn't living in this area. So we're going to cut that, and we're actually going to come over here and we're going to cut the 16. Because again, the guitar really isn't living there. We're going to punch it up just like this, and we're going to cut our mid a little bit. That's pretty cool. Let's punch up a little bit more right here, and let's take a little bit more out right there. You can hear it's a lot thinner sounding, and now it's a lot more. There is a substantial difference, especially in this chord. Now I'm going to hit the EQ. EQ off. EQ on. That's a noticeable difference. And it's not introducing any noise. That's EQ on, EQ off. When you're buying pedals, I get it. Everyone wants to find good equipment at low cost. The issue I've found with pedals, you can get away with maybe one cheap pedal, okay? But when you start having a lot of $30 or $40 pedals and you start putting them in sequence, they immediately start getting really noisy and uncontrollable. Your higher end pedals, they just don't cause that problem. The circuitry's better. You know, we're not going to get into, there's a markup on it. I've said this a million times. Nobody goes into business not to make money, okay? When you look at Jackson, okay, guitar company, let's look at Sire, okay? They want to make a product that you want to buy. And of course, they want to make as much money as they can. So if MXR is making a pedal like this and they're charging $160 for it and it just isn't performing, people won't buy it. MXR and Boss, in my opinion, they are the budget brands. They're good, solid budget brands. You can buy Strymon, that's like the high end. But if you want the working class pedal, and it doesn't cost an arm and a leg, MXR and Boss makes nice stuff. And it's road friendly, it's durable stuff, okay? Now, there's cheaper stuff out there. I had that, I forget what you have to go back to the beginning of the stream, whatever I called that one pedal that I bought temporarily. I can immediately hear this pedal does better. There's more separation, okay? There's less bleed over. When I go from 31.25 to 6.25, there's very little bleed between these, okay? It was Sonic Cake, okay? When I moved this one on the Sonic Cake, you could hear there was a large curve between the frequency bands. This one's very accurate. I can hear that when I make this change, it's doing it accurately, okay? There's very little bleed between the two channels. That's what I mean. To me, that's well worth it. For what we do here, I'm kind of digging that pedal, okay? I'm going to look at the chat and see what you guys think. Anyone have, I think we've already had a couple posts, people saying that they have the MXR 10-band EQ. This is my first one, and I went MXR because I can depend on it. They're talking dinner, honey.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, I had meatloaf sandwiches. Nothing, you know, when we make meatloaf, we make a big meatloaf because I love meatloaf.
Devastator said they had meatloaf tonight.
Yeah, I had meatloaf sandwiches tonight, Devastator. So, yeah, I'm all about meatloaf.
Potentially Work wants to know, why do you put the pedal in front of the tuner?
It doesn't matter. You can put the pedal after the tuner. It really doesn't matter. I just did it because this input right here, you should be able to see it. This output's going directly to my line 6 stomp. So I could have easily taken this and put on the output and then just kept the guitar going into the tuner. It was just for me, that's the way I did it, if that makes sense. You don't have to do it that way. Let me go back to my screen to make sure we're right. So it doesn't matter. This is a passive device. It shouldn't be altering the signal. You know, it's a Peterson, so it should not be altering the signal like cheaper tuners. It's a nice tuner. So I don't think in this case it should make too much difference. But everything that you plug in to your signal, it does make a change. I don't care what the quality level is, it's going to change something. You're trying to make it as transparent as you can for a tuner. So now we've switched over to a high gain channel. So I want to make sure we're not over gained here, which I think we are. I'm going to take some of that out in the high gain channel. So immediately on the high gain channel, I can hear that it's just a little too beefy. So you've got to kind of find your comfortable medium. Like I noticed that sounded good on the clean channel. I don't want to constantly mess with it. You got to find the sweet spot, go back through, tweak your settings on whatever else you're doing to where when you engage this, it's going to work across the board, if that makes sense. It's a little overgained. I'm going to turn the thing back. Definitely need to do some tweaking on that one.
Potentially Work said your tuner says FLM instead of GTR. He has that tuner and has it set to GTR.
Yeah, you look at your manual. Each setting will do something a little different, if that makes sense. We can go into the menu. And see, I'm at 0 right here. So it shouldn't be affecting anything, being that it's on FLM right there. We go to GTR, that's where you're at. See? Oh, well, you guys couldn't see that, could you? Sorry. So I switched it to GTR, and my tune. You can set it up to where it could be off a cent or two here or there if you're playing with somebody or trying to match a tuner. I only use it for setups because of the strobe being so accurate. I don't have mine set up to do weird things like be 2 or 3 cents off on the A. Some people, like on Telecaster guys, when they do setups, they actually want their strings to be off a couple cent here or there. I see this a lot in like bluegrass and country players. I don't understand the concept, but it gives the guitar a certain tonal quality that they like, and they figured it out. So let's say they want their B to be off maybe 2 cents flat, and their G, they might want, a cent sharp. We're not talking much, but when the guitar is right, it gives it a certain sound. Just like the original Telecasters, they only had the 2 barrels here, and you had compensated cuts. Well, you could only get the intonation so close because you could only have 2 screws to adjust your intonation. That gave the guitar a certain sound, you know. And then they had the 3-barrel one, and now they make Strats where it has individual saddles. It gives the guitar a certain sound. If you can't get it perfect, you know, let's say you got a 2-barrel saddle, well, you've got to get an average between these 3 because you can't get them all perfect. It gives it a sound. So a lot of these settings in the tuner are set up for people to do professional setups, and you can manually go in and accurately reproduce that, whatever that person's wanting. I've had some weird ones, and I always go back and erase it. Because if I don't erase it, I'm going to hit the wrong button. I'm going to set someone's guitar up off 2 or 3 cents here or there. But the tuner's quite capable of doing a lot of things. That's why I really, for the money, I really do recommend this tuner. I think it's the best tuner you can get for your money. And I've dropped this one. It's been down in the dusty environment, down in the shop, routing. It's seen its fair share of work, and it's been a good tuner. So that's how I gauge things. If it's been a good tuner, oh, thank you so much, Mr. Niles. Oh, what's up with that? I don't have my buttons working. Well, I got to do the clap. I thought I fixed the buttons, but evidently I don't have the buttons working yet. I actually spent a couple minutes. I said, well, I got to get my clappy button working. But for whatever reason, the clappy button isn't working. I don't understand why. I pushed a button, but it's not working. If you're new here, I do want to ask you to please go down, hit the thumbs up button, and consider subscribing. We're trying to be a different kind of YouTube channel where we get on here, we talk about products, and we talk about the user-friendly part of the products. And not only are we looking at this MXR 10-band EQ tonight, but we're also, this is our second night with these guys. And if you're not familiar with the channel, you know this is our second wireless system. We had an XVIR UT5, and it caused a lot of problems. We're about honesty here, and I have no loyalty to DJI, XVIR, Samsung. You know, it doesn't matter. SA, we're here to find products that work, okay, and that are easy. That's the key. You want to be able to plug it in and it just work. That's the key.
You have a Mr. I don't know, I'm going to say Mr. J. He said, I'm trying to figure out if I should get a Marshall JCM 800 or 900, but I can't find anyone to explain the difference.
Now, there's tons of people in the chat that can probably help you with that. How I see the JCM 800, when I was playing, okay, late 80s, early 90s, the JCM 800, when you put one of these in front of it, okay, put one of these in front of it, and it would just give you the monster. I got face tracking on, so I've got to cover my face. This is a TS9. Put one of these in front of it, and believe me, you're going to get that 80s sound.
Niles said the price, LOL.
Yeah, I mean, the 800 is going to be more money. When the 900 come out, everyone was all about it. They were, okay? But it didn't take long for people to really start poo-pooing the 900. I think the 900 is a good amp as well, okay? You just got to figure out what makes them happy and what makes you happy. They're amps that do what they do well, okay? The 800 in the stock form, I think gives you that that 70s crunch like no other amp. If you put a TS9 in front of it, it's just got that sound, okay? The 900 is a little flubbier, okay? But I think you'll get more gain out of it, okay? If that makes sense. I don't mean flubby in a bad way. It's more late 80s, you know, early 90s tone.
Steve basically just said the same thing. If you want an epic crunch, do the JCM 800. You want higher gain, do the JCM 900.
Yeah. Don't let someone tell you one's better than the other. They're completely different amps. If I had to pick, I mean, I've got a heck of an amplifier back here for high gain. I wouldn't need the JCM 900. I would go JCM 800 to get that late 70s, early 80s tone, and I wouldn't use a TS9 in front of it. I would get that Stevie Ray Vaughan, you know, bite and crunch, and go for that type tone out of it, because I've already got my higher gain. I've got a Sedano and I got a Friedman in the rack. I've thought about, they just come out with a Synergy module for the 800. From what I hear, it's better than the 800 was. So before you go out and buy one, I would suggest go out and look at an IR, I think it's the IR 20 or IR 30 Synergy head, and put the JCM 800 module on it. The reason I say that is you're going to get two Marshall channels, okay, for crunch and high gain, and the IR 20 has a clean channel, okay? Believe me, you can get that amplifier for less money than the Marshall head. And if that's not enough power for you, get the bigger Synergy. They got a 50 and a 100 watt head that has twin bays. You can still buy that one and put the JCM 800 module in it. It's still going to be cheaper than the Marshall. Why do I say do that? Because a lot of people claim it's better than the original JCM 800. And if you get a head that has two bays, you can put the JCM 800 on one side, maybe a Sedano on the other side, or a Friedman, or a Diesel, or maybe what I would do is I'd put the Bassman, the B-Man on one side, and the JCM 800 on the other side. And you'd have a kick butt head. But if you're doing like streaming and you're recording, I would probably go with it's either, I think it's the IR 20, it's a 20 watt head. The reason I say that, it has built-in IRs, so you can go right out of that head to Reaper or whatever recording software or your interface. You're going to get that Marshall sound, and you've got a bunch of loaded IRs already in that little head. It's true 20 watt. So you put that on like a 212 greenback cabinet, it's going to be loud. You know, is it going to be loud like my 50 watt? No. So it really depends on what you want to do.
He said he uses a Gibson Les Paul, and he tries to play punk, rock, and metal mostly.
What was that again?
He uses a Gibson Les Paul, and he tries to play punk, rock, and metal mostly. Mr. J, he's the one that was talking about the 800 and 900.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, like the Dead Kennedys, that's a real raw sound. Yeah, if you're doing stuff like that and you're not recording to a DAW, you know, you're going to pay out the nose for an original Marshall JCM 800. That's the problem. You're going to pay out the nose for it. That's why I suggest doing the Synergy head and buying the module. Let's see, if you're not familiar with it, let's, I haven't done this yet on, well, I can't. I don't have my computer set up to do that yet, guys. I can't do display screen. I don't have that set up in OBS. But if you go to Sweetwater, type in Synergy, okay? and they're going to have the R20, a 50-watt head, and a 100-watt head. And you're going to see that there's little holes in the front of the head. You can slide a module in it. They've got 2 different Marshall modules now, a Friedman module. If you go that way, you can buy that head, the JCM 800 module, and whatever other module you want for less money than you're going to pay for a really nice JCM 800. They have really gotten stupid expensive. Is it going to be cheap? Absolutely not. It's not going to be cheap. You're probably looking at about $2,600 to get 2 modules in the head. But you don't need 2 modules. You could probably get the head and 1 module for right around $2,200. And like I said, a lot of people claim that it's better than the actual JCM 800. But in the future, if you want to change, let's say you get out of it and you don't want the Marshall anymore, you could spend $400 and put a diesel module in it, or a Friedman module, or a Sedano module, or a Mesa Boogie module. That's the advantage. You don't have to sell the head. You can just buy modules and completely change your sound. I love my Synergy module, and I do use it, but to do the stream I have to use this pedal and come out of the preamp with this pedal. And right now we just did a lot of changes to it, so a couple more weeks we'll get everything worked out and be able to, I'd like to be able to go to Sweetwater and show you. I just don't have a display screen set up on the OBS yet. My personal practice amp in my house is a Boss Katana Mini. I have a Boss Katana Artist Gen 3 working with my buds. The Katana, I had a Katana. You can't beat the Katana for the price and what it does. The issue you're going to have, like, I don't know how you have the Katana set up.
Excuse me.
You've got effects in the Katana. When you switch to the JCM 800, it's going to be guitar amp. You're not going to have the reverbs, the delay, the compressors. You're going to find that you're going to have a really dry signal really quick.
Niles says Sweetwater has a Synergy module and head for $1,500.
Yep. I mean, I would spend that $1,500 long before I bought a used JCM 800. And another reason is they're getting old. So you buy an amp like that, you're probably going to have to do some work on the electrolytics. You don't know if it's got old tubes in it. You don't know much about it. Older amps, as they age, the electrolytics go out, and recapping and doing the work on a JCM 800 can get pricey. If Mike is still in the stream, Mike is 100% a Marshall tech. So Mike, if you're still in here, please put in there what you think it would cost to recap a JCM 800. You go through and what you found in the past, the average cost of recapping a JCM. I don't know if he's still in the stream or not, but that's what Mike did. He loves working on Marshalls. So he can give you some information too on it. Okay. How long have we been on? I've got a new system.
It's 8:53.
Oh, see? My little Vox clock was going off. Vox clock. Yeah, the new JCM 800s are going for $3,400. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. You can get the dual bass Synergy head, put the JCM 800 module in it, and then pick another module. If I was doing it, I would probably go with like the B-Man, something like that. Give you a completely different sound. And the advantage to that is now you've got a 4-channel amp. Because the Marshall module is going to give you 2 channels, and the Beadman is going to give you 2 channels. You're not going to get that with an original Marshall JCM 800. And the advantage to the Synergy, it is Marshall. It's a Marshall product. It's a Marshall preamplifier going into Synergy. All these companies work really closely with Synergy and design and build that module. So the 800 is just a kick butt module. Just do a YouTube search on it, and you're going to see quite a few people saying that they like the Synergy version better than the Marshall version. It's actually quite scary. So, recap: 1984 JCM 800 myself. That's JR Custom Shop. Maybe JR can tell you, and I'm only saying that because when you buy an amplifier like that, you might find that you're going to buy the amp and then also need to recap it. So that's an added cost. So he might be able to tell you the average cost of doing that.
Niles said they have the single module head now. You don't have to have a dual anymore.
Right. Yeah, I knew they had two. I would look at the price difference. Okay, the dual module is, you can just do you're doubling your channels. Okay, because you got two channels in each bay. So let's say you get the JCM 800 and you want high gain and crunch. Well, that's all you're going to get. But if you buy the head that has two module slots, now you got a 4-channel amp.
JR said $400 to do a recap, but he would charge less.
Yeah. So add that to the cost. I would definitely look at the Synergy before I went out and bought a vintage. Now, and I'm not saying you're wrong by doing it. I get it. If you say, no, I want a JCM 800 because that's what it is. It's a JCM 800. I want the corks. That's what I want. And I'm not gonna argue with you, because I myself, I want a Gibson Les Paul with P90s in it. That's just what I want. And I've tried a couple other guitars to scratch that itch. It's not a Gibson. It's not a Gibson with P90s. And I'm not even going to say the Gibson would sound better. I'm just saying what I want's a Gibson. So I should get the Gibson. If you're stuck and you really want that Marshall head, okay, then pick between the 800 and 900. But if you're just chasing the sound and you're using it and you want it to be user friendly, okay, I would do the Synergy dual bay with the JCM 800 module and maybe a B-Man or a Mesa or some other type of maybe even the Bogner module next to the. That way you want something completely opposite. That way you have 4 channels that can cover all the different sounds that you want to get out of that amplifier. And then pick yourself a nice cabinet.
Niles says he wants the dual module so he could put in a JCM 800 module and the Steve Vai module.
That would be cool. I've heard the Vai module. The Vai module is pretty cool.
And Mr. J said one of his buddies also told him about the PRS Mark Tremonti signature,
yeah, the
MT100.
Yeah, that is a very. You're all. They're good amplifiers. That TM100 is a kick butt amplifier. PRS makes a couple nice ones. If you want that, I don't think there's any PRS modules in the Synergy lineup yet. So, man, you just got to kind of. The problem is finding places that you can plug into something like that, and really get a feel for it. Take your guitar, and always remember your cabinet makes a big difference. So if you go into a place and you plug that thing in and it's not doing it for you, your cabinet makes a tremendous difference. So pay attention to what cabinet they're playing. I'm a greenback fan. I have 2 25-watt, well, it's actually 4 25-watt Celestion greenbacks. Nothing sounds like a greenback. I like a greenback. This cabinet over here has Celestion Pentas in it. there's just something about those sounds. So if I went to the store and I heard, that head plugged into Celestion V30s, it's going to skew the results a little bit because I'm used to hearing Pentas and Celestions. Now, I do have a V30 cabinet. I don't like the V30s by themselves. If I take the V30s and I run stereo, I got a 212 V30 cabinet, and I run one half of my Penta cabinet, and I mix them, I like that. That sounds pretty good. But the V30s by themselves, I'm not a fan. But I think if you mix them with like a creamback or the Penta or something else, I think you can get a little bit more body out of it, if that makes sense. So keep that in mind. If you go out, your cabinet does make a big difference, and it really skews the results. That's why in modeling, if you look at your IRs, changing the IR can drastically change how your model sounds. And that's the exact same principle with your head. Unplug it, plug it into a different cabinet. I hate to say it, it's a long road. And when you find something you like, don't let a YouTuber tell you it's not good. Because there's so many things, okay, in your signal path and things that you're doing that will either make or break the equipment that you've picked. So if someone says, oh, V30s, like I just did, for my setup, the V30s just don't work by themselves. That doesn't mean that it doesn't work for somebody else. I just find the V30 works well with the Pentas or the greenbacks mixed. So work with what you have and your experience you have, and kind of, if that makes sense, kind of make it work. So go to the store, see what they got, plug the head in, and just try it. And if you can't, order from a place that has a no questions asked return policy.
Niall said the room and cab speaker all have or will change the sound and your perception. So if you play it in the store, it's going to sound different than in your normal space.
Yeah. When I was doing reviews with my tube amp, it was over here in the corner, okay? And the corner projected that cabinet a little differently. And you'll notice when I moved the cabinet over here, the guitar review, the distortion tone changed in the amp. I didn't make any changes. But the microphone in the room picked up the change from that cabinet being in the corner versus being not in the corner, just with the back against the wall. So your cabinet placement, the distance off the wall, the type of speakers, it all makes a difference. It really does.
Mr. J said, do you have any recommendations on a wah pedal to work with a Boss Blues pedal and a, what is that, Proco Rat pedal?
Oh yeah, Proco Rat pedal. You can't go wrong with the favorites, man. The Dunlop pedals, they work. If you got an old Rat pedal, stick with that type vintage, if that makes sense. Digitech made some pretty nice ones too. Morley made some pretty nice ones. I would probably go Morley or Dunlop.
Devastator said Crybaby makes a nice wah.
Yep, Crybaby, another good one. Something like that, a Crybaby, a Morley.
Birdman suggested the Vox wah pedal.
That's another good one. I mean, they all kind of do the same thing. Again, that's something, man, you got to kind of just plug it in and play with it.
Beretta Vandy said he's gotten kind of partial to the Eminence Texas Heats of late.
Eminence makes nice drivers. I know some people poo-poo on Eminence. I actually like Eminence speakers. But I also like the original Fender drivers from the 60s and 70s. I think Fender made a good speaker. Some people say no. Again, Eminence, Mojo Tone, that's another good one. Mojo Tone makes a nice speaker. So it's not just Celestion anymore. You can really step outside that box and you can get good speakers. You really can.
Dwight said he has a 412 cabinet filled with Celestion Alnico cream speakers, and they're sounding great in his setup.
Yeah, I like the cream. I don't have creams, but I had a cabinet with 212 creams, and I kind of miss it. That's a cabinet that I think I want to pick up eventually, is a creamback again. I don't know. If I had to make a choice, I would sell my dual V30 cabinet, and I would like to do a 212 creamback cabinet.
Devastator said you need to run Blue Marvels.
Blue Marvels are good speakers. I don't have anything with a Blue Marvel in it anymore. And again, that's another one of those speakers people just poo-pooed the Blue Marvels. That was like Sheffield. People poo-pooed Sheffields. I didn't hear anything wrong with Sheffields. Whether or not EVH played Sheffields or he just promoted Sheffields and his cabinets were loaded with something else, who knows? But I had guys that had cabinets with Sheffields in them. I didn't think they sounded bad. Exact same thing with the Blue Marvel. I had a PV Classic 30 that had a 12-inch Blue Marvel in it. I thought it was a good sounding speaker. That had a lot of bottom end. Let's go back to this one. So with the Blue Marvel, you had a lot of bottom. Turn that up again. That ring on the low, I found the Blue Marvel was really good at that, and they were also really nice on the. I thought they were a little, V-curved. The mid was dropped on the Blue Marvel. That might be something that you're looking for. So if you're looking for that more of a V curve, I think the Blue Marvel does that. Exact same thing with the Eminence. What was that guitar player? Phenomenal guitar player. Did White Cliffs of Dover. I think his signature driver also has a little bit of a V cut to wave that speaker. I forget what that one, I know it's Eminence, but I can't remember the name of that driver. It's his signature driver. Did White Cliffs of Dover. So you guys are going to hate me for not knowing actually who that is. But I can't remember. Isn't that awful? And he was one of my favorite guitar players. All right, guys, we're going to take our 5-minute break. Again, if you're familiar with the channel, I'm asking and begging, go down. Please hit the thumbs up button and please consider subscribing. We have over 80 guitar reviews on this channel. Go to the main page, click on guitar reviews.
By the way, it was Eric Johnson.
Eric Johnson, that's the man. That dude was crazy. He has a signature speaker with Eminence. You might want to check for that one out. It's got a nice curve. Another great driver. Anyway, go to the main channel. Check out some of the guitar reviews. There's over 80 of them there. And just so you know, we are giving away a guitar before we take the break. We'll go over it. This is a Court Select 280. So that's this guitar giveaway for the channel. The only rules are you have to be publicly subscribed to the channel. You have to head over to Discord, and there's a small form you have to fill out that Steve has created just so we can track everyone, and it auto-populates the wheel for when we do the giveaway. When we hit 3,000 subscribers, we're going to give this guitar away. This is a fantastic instrument. Court 280 Select. So I just wanted to let everybody know that is the next guitar giveaway. All right, guys, we're going to do a 5-minute break. And when we come back, we're not going to stream super long tonight. Probably an hour and a half, something like that. But hopefully when we come back, we're going to play with this pedal a little more. I want to kind of do some more shaping with the pedal so we can see, you know, what it does and what you can get out of it. I think I've already kind of went over it. As far as the clean sound, it makes a big difference, guys. It really does. All right, guys, 5-minute break. You know what? I am going to have to go to this scene here. It's going to be the music and gear scene. I was so busy working on these. Yeah, I know. I forgot to actually work on a break scene. So, like I said, new system. Give me a couple weeks to get all the scene windows open. And again, I want to thank everyone for coming in, but we're only taking a 5-minute break, and we'll be right back, guys.
Pitching
just had to do it. I spent all that time working on those. But guys, it took me so long to figure out how to get that. It's VHDC, so it's always on a black background. So it would load and you couldn't see the camera behind it. So for me to be able to flick this on and you could still see me in the background and it's just an overlying image, my little squirrel brain, you know, it's been 30 years since I did anything in HTML. And now using DaVinci Resolve, which I've never used in VHDC, I'm able to do things that I couldn't do with the old CPU. Now I can have two programs running at the same time. I can overlay images, night and day difference. So as I learn what I can and can't do, hopefully it'll get better. Someone was saying, excuse me, something about not having glitches and the new CPU. Yeah, it's far better. The only thing I've noticed, and it could be something to do with the latest firmware updates or driver updates, I've noticed in VSDC, I'm running Windows 11 now, and it does seem to have a couple little glitches in Windows 11 that I did not have with Windows 10. So I need to go to VSDC's website and see if I need to do something, make some changes for Windows 11. That's pretty much the only thing that I've seen. And it's not a bad glitch. It's more of a file thing and how VSDC sees the file structure. But really, that's the only issue I've had. Windows 11 and the AMD processor seems to find everything immediately, and I haven't had any connection problems as far as it not connecting or not seeing a product. So as of right now, I'm loving the 16-core 4.7 computer. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to break down and buy another 32 gigs of RAM. Said that quietly. I bought it's I don't know. I can't remember what RAM I bought. Real quick, what RAM did I buy? I bought Corsair RAM. It's 6,000 and it's CL28. So it's 6,000 and it's the good. It's not the 36 or the 40. It's CL28. Quite expensive. I paid $387 for 32 meg or 32 gigabyte RAM sticks, 216s. That's crazy expensive. But I'm going to get 2 more sticks and give the computer 64. I think at that point, when I'm doing video work, there's no way I'll have a problem. AMD runs hot. That's no problem. You should see the monstrosity air cooler that I have. I have a dual riser cooler put on the computer, and it is a monstrosity. The one that I picked up, I'm trying to see so you guys can see which one I got. Samsung MSI Peerless Assassin 140. So it's a thermal RAM Peerless Assassin with dual 140 fans, dual riser. It's the biggest dual riser cooler that I can fit in a full-size tower case, ATX. Any bigger, it would hit the side of the and this is a full-size case. So that, it's freaking huge. I don't think, maybe I can pull, one of the streams I'll pull the side cover off and we'll get this camera set up to where you guys can see. The video card in that cooler, it's a monstrosity. That, you know, it is what it is. It's 100% better than what I had. The video card is a little different. It has a little bit more VRAM on it than my Quattro had.
JR said, did you get the Peerless with the digital screen?
Did you get the Peerless with the digital screen? I don't know what the Peerless is, so most likely I didn't get that. The video card I got, they had a 20 gigabyte. They only had one. And when I got there, he had just sold it the hour before, so I ended up getting the 16 gigabyte video card. I got the RX 9070 XT. That was the Radeon that I got, Radeon Reaper. And they had a 20 gigabyte. They only had one. And like I said, that's what I actually went to go get, but the guy sold it. My Quattro card has 12 gigabyte on it. The advantage to my Quattro card, it has a 384-bit memory bus. This card only has a 264 memory bus, but it has more memory, and the memory is it's actually 2 generations faster than what my Quattro has. So with the faster memory and the smaller bus, I still think it'll be a faster card. I don't game on my computer, so before someone says, well, Quattro cards suck, they don't suck. The Quattro cards are CAD they're just monsters for AutoCAD. I do both, so if I have a problem in AutoCAD, I can pull the Quattro out of the other card and stick it in this one. I have another PCIe 5 slot, so I can tell it in AutoCAD to run the Quattro if I have a problem. I haven't tinkered with it. I don't have AutoCAD on the new computer yet, so baby steps. We'll see. You know, with all that stuff off, I can still use the old computer for my AutoCAD. It runs fine. It runs AutoCAD just fine. AutoCAD doesn't need a lot of cores. It only needs, you know, one main cord, and it supplements a couple things off the other cords. So I don't think I'll see that much performance gain CAD-wise with the new computer. But I will see a gain, just like you guys are seeing it, when I'm running OBS. I have the wing rack on it. I have the HX Stomp edit up. I also have, whatever this program is, the ATM software control for the cameras is up. VSDC is still up. Now, before the system would crash. Right now, I have my VSDC and DaVinci Resolve running in the background while we're streaming. I could never do that before. So it's already far better. Far better. It should be. It was very expensive. Great choices. I was asking about your cooler. The Peerless Assassin. No, the one that I got does not have, I didn't want any RGB or anything like that. The one that I got is just black. So the only color and RGB thing going on in the computer case is the RAM. The Corsair RAM does have a little bit. So when you look down in it, you just see the RAM sticks kind of glowing. So my video card doesn't have any RGB things. None of my case fans have any RGB lights going on. And this is I love this case company. I can't remember who makes this case. I have had Fractal. So I bought a full-size, full ATX Fractal case. The reason I like Fractal is the cases don't flex. So when you mount your motherboard and stuff in there, it's a very rigid case. They're user friendly. You know, it's just a latch and the whole side comes off. The other side comes off. The top comes off. It has little filters for the top, the sides, and the front. I like Fractal. If I'm not saying there's not other good cases out there, but at $160, it's kind of hard to beat what you get with Fractal. So I got a Fractal case. In reality, it's a pretty basic computer. I spent the extra money on the CPU and the motherboard. I have SBIF out on the board, and I wanted that due to the audio in the future, putting a video card in it. It's the Wi-Fi on it is 10 gigabyte, not 5 on the output for the Ethernet. So I have a huge range there. So it's not 2.5, it's not 5, it's 10. The USB, I have extra USB ports. It has 2.0, a ton of the 3.2, and it has, again, 10 gigabit and 5 gigabit ports on the USB. It just had all the bells and whistles. Another thing I liked about this particular motherboard, it had 2 PCIe 5 slots and 3 PCIe 4 slots. So I can expand. So if I decide to put that video controller card in for my cameras, I've got a PCIe 5 port available. But this is a residential motherboard, so I think it only has 20 lanes. So I only have 20 open lanes. And that's, unless you're building a server with a $5,000 motherboard, that's pretty much what you got. So I don't plan on buying a motherboard that has the extra lanes in it like that. Would it be better? Probably. I just don't think I need it. For what I'm doing, this seems to be working well, and I tried to future-proof it as best as I could, if that makes sense. Things have just gotten expensive, guys. I mean, I built my last computer 10 years ago, so I guess I can't complain. I got 10 years out of it. So I tried to build this one to where I can get 10 years out of this one. And things constantly change. If you're into computers, you'll know within 2 years, the architecture, language, everything can really get turned on its head. At the same token, it can kind of stay the same. So I'm kind of hoping with this particular one, as things change, I can evolve, before it becomes to the point where I just can't make it work anymore, if that makes sense. 16 core, I shouldn't have a problem. All right, what did I miss on the chat, honey? I need to unmute your mic because you were doing some wild stuff out there. And there you go, you are unmuted.
I was making cocoa.
Oh, it sounded like the kitchen was getting torn apart. She made me cocoa, guys.
They're talking about their computers that they have.
Yeah. I think the only thing I need to do to this one is put more RAM in it. 32 probably isn't enough when I start really getting into a lot of files open on the computer and editing. I don't know. We're going to see. I am going to load it down in VSDC and DaVinci Resolve and see if I have a problem. If I don't have a problem, I'm not going to mess with it. But if I see it, doing strange things, then I might put another 32 gig in it. My AMD is an AM4 platform, Ryzen 7. Is the 5800X an 8 core or is it a 16 core? Because I'm pretty sure it was a Ryzen 7 16 core that I looked at. And I think it was an X3D. And the reason I looked at it is it would run DDR4 memory. And the DDR4 memory was so much cheaper than the DDR5 6000 CR28 that I bought. It was significantly cheaper. The drawback was it's an older socket, the AM4, so that's why I didn't go that way.
His is an 8 core. He said he also has like 10 terabytes of SSD storage and a 4 terabyte Seagate platter drive.
That was another thing. This board, I'm able to run 4 M.2 drives on the board without putting an adapter card in one of my PCI slots. So it has 4 spots to run M.2s. That's what I'm running right now. I have a Gen 4 M.2. I did not go Gen 5 because they don't have all the bugs worked out of them yet. So I went back a generation to Gen 4 and I put a Gen 4 M.2. I can't remember if I think that this one's a 2 terabyte that I put in it. That'll be something that I add in the future. I'm going to put another 2 terabyte in it. I'm not going to put these large terabyte M.2s in. I've heard that they cause issues. Okay, so I think a 4 terabyte would be about as big as I'd want to go on an M.2.
Is your arm still bleeding?
It's not bleeding, guys. This looks like it's bleeding across. It's actually not. I pulled the skin off all the way across. And I don't know how I did it today. I got myself here and over here today. We're having a cookout tomorrow. So we did some work outside, and somewhere between getting the new lawnmower up and running and cutting the grass and the weed eater, I ended up getting myself pretty good.
Jip Boy dropped by to say hi. He said he can't stay. He's visiting his dad.
Oh, cool, man. I wish my parents were still with us. I lost my parents a couple years ago. If you're familiar with the channel, I dedicated we were reviewing a Firefly Mad Cat, and I dedicated that review to my mother. She passed away right in the middle of that. So, man, spend time with your parents, because when they're gone, I mean, I miss my parents. You know, it gets better as time goes on, but when I think about them, I just miss them coming over. As much of a pain in the butt sometimes they're your parents, you know. So go spend time with them, man.
JR said, Avery, there's no AM4 AMD Ryzen CPUs with 16 cores in the X3D. You must be thinking of 16 threads, 8 cores.
Maybe that's what it is. I looked at one of them, and I don't remember what it was. And I didn't go that route. And when we went to the store, I almost didn't do the 16 core. I almost did the 8 core, the Ryzen or Raisin or whatever you call it, 9. It was a 3DX 8 core. And it was $380 cheaper. I was going to use the same board, same memory, same everything, because I needed that dual PCIe 5 slot and the 3 PCIe 4s. The only thing I was doing was changing to a 16 core. And we were sitting in there, and I'm looking at Linnell, and he said, look, it's $380 cheaper if we do this. And I'm like, okay, just just build, let's do that one. Let's get the parts and build that one. Went outside, we went up to Safeway and we bought a drink, and I'm looking at Linnell. I guess she kind of already knew, and I looked at her and I'm like, I can't, we're spending this kind of money. What's 380 bucks? And even though I'm saying that, I know 380 bucks is a lot of freaking money. It's not when you're spending 3,000. It's not. It was going to be like $2,800 or $3,200. And if you're spending $2,800 and you go and you think about it, you're getting half the computer. It's half the cores. And I'm sitting there, we're walking out of Safeway, and I've got this, my favorite Monster, my white Monster, and I'm like, I'm spending this kind of money and I'm building an 8-core computer. It's not like an Intel where it has 8 cores and maybe 8, economy cores. You only have 8 cores. So with Intel's bad. They'll give you 8 decent cores and 8 or 10 or 12 crap cores running at like 1.7, 1.8. So I'm looking at it going, well, it's only 8 cores. They're fast 8 cores, but it's only 8 core. Maybe I should do Intel. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, if I do Intel, it's really not any cheaper on Intel versus just doing a full-blown 16-core AMD where all the cores are 4.7. And I looked at her and she goes, well, you better go over there and tell them something. So I sent them a quick text. I don't know if they get it or not. So I walk in the store and the place is like crazy. I stand in line for 20 minutes before I get up to the person. I'm like, look, we need to make this change. I want to make the change. He goes, we got to go find your salesperson. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So then I got to go back in the store and I got to chase my sales guy down. And I told him, I said, look, man, I really want to just change to the 16 core. All in all, it worked out. I guess my point in this is sometimes, and I relate this to guitars, sometimes when we really want something, we'll kind of back off because we're like, that's just too much money. And I'm not saying it happens all the time. Sometimes I'm happy with my choice, backing off and not spending the money. But there's been times where I've bought things that's just like, this is not what I wanted. I shouldn't have saved the $200. I should have just went ahead and spent the $1,000 and got the guitar I wanted. So I'm sitting there going, it's going to be hopefully 10 years. So what's 380 bucks more versus what I'm spending? And even though I'm saying that, it sounds ludicrous. But in the long run, I know a year from now or 2 years from now, I'm going to look back and go, yes, this was a good decision to spend the extra $380 and get twice the cores. So that was my whole reasoning on it. It's just expensive. And it's not just RAM, your video cards. GPUs have just went through the roof. It's computing in general has went through the roof. You're seeing a lot of these older workstation cards now coming back up for sale because they're 2 years old. Some of these Titan cards and workstations and Quattro cards, they're good cards. So what I tell people, if you're into gaming and stuff like that, maybe look at a Quattro or a Titan. You might be surprised what these ex-government computers that people buy and they tear down, they sell for parts. You might be surprised how some of these workstation cards, how well they perform. They're not gaming cards, I'm not saying that, but you can pick up some of these cards for 60 to 150 bucks. It's worth looking into the way things are priced right now. I was looking at an M6000, a 24 gigabyte M6000 with it's a 500 and some odd bit front side bus. Is right at, I think he said like $2,100, and that in today's world of gaming cards, there's gaming card things now that are $3,000. So it's not hateful. It is hateful, but it's not hateful. All right, let's get off the computer topic. Yeah, I want to start to cry when I think about it. Oh, but we needed it, and I'm glad everyone is saying that they see a difference in the quality of the stream. All right, we're gonna switch over to a high gain setting. Go with that volume right there. So we do have our 10-band EQ on. We haven't really changed the setting too much, guys. Let me kind of tilt that so you guys can get a better view of where we're at setting wise. A little bit of a V curve. So that's quite mean sounding. So let's play with it a little bit. Instead of doing the traditional cut, let's do the exact opposite. We're just going to play around with it. Let's bring this down to unity, and let's bring up our mids. Let's do a little bit of a mid punch. Reverse V. See what we get. So here's our new, doing the exact opposite of what we were doing. I don't mind pushing the mid up like that. I think you can bring this mid in, okay, like this, and we can punch this 125 like that, and we can regain a little bit of that bottom. by pushing that mid, you can hear it's more in your face when you do that. But if we punch this 125 up and we cut right here, okay? Let's keep that one at unity. All right. So there's our new setting. And these two here, this 1K and 2K, kind of play around. Figure out, let's cut this back here and let's give it more of a high mid punch. Okay? You can hear it. So let's move it the opposite direction. You can see we're punched out on 2K. So let's take our 2K down a little bit, 1K in the center, and let's punch our 5. Okay, exact opposite. Now these are at unity. 0 gain here. 0 gain here at 250. And we're cutting 31.25, and we're cutting the snot out of the 16. So let's see what we get when we use that setting. You can hear, you still get the harmonics, but it's not as bright and edgy sounding. It has more bottom end butt. And doing this at these frequencies, you're not going to trample on your bass player. That's the big thing. You're not living where the bass player is living. So that it's a good EQ curve that's not going to kill your bass player. So let's go up to a regular tune here. I'm going to turn the EQ off. EQ on. you can hear the edginess isn't quite there. It's not as brittle sounding, and you've got a little bit more mid-bottom punch. It really brings the guitar to life. So what are your thoughts on the MXR, guys? I really think this is something that everybody can use between their guitar and their amp. There's endless possibilities. Let's just see, like, so right now we're actually cutting.
What size frets are on that guitar? Medium, jumbo, stainless?
These are medium. I don't think they're stainless, but these are medium. They're not super jumbos. I find these frets this size to be about perfect for me. If you watch, I play pretty aggressively, so if I put a big honking fret on the guitar, I find myself kind of knocking the guitar out of tune, if that makes sense, because I'm I'm aggressive on the way I hammer, and anything bigger, I have a bad tendency of just knocking. It's not the guitar's fault. It's just the way I play. I love this guitar. This is a fantastic playing instrument.
Is that just a 2-post trim?
Yeah, it's just a 2-point tremolo. And I play this guitar just like I do my locking tremolos. And it is so freaking stable. I mean, there's no locking nut. How can you complain about the tuning stability of a 2-point bridge without a locking nut? I'm quite abusive on it. This guitar is quite impressive, especially for its asking price. This is an under $800 guitar. The stock pickups, they just they break up so well, and they actually have a really good clean sound too. Let's do clean tones. I mean, it third position. Fourth position. Fifth position. Let's roll back the volume a little bit. Really? It's got a good sound in a lot of different ways, guys.
Birdman says, are those PAF modeled pups?
You know, I don't know what Sire did on these. I know they were trying to get a little bit hotter pickup because, I mean, look at this thing. Yeah, you know, it isn't saying, hey, country artists, come pick me up. I think they voiced these pickups for people that were going to be buying it. This is it is more of a rock Telecaster than it would be more of a traditional Telecaster. So you'd have to go back and look at the review. I don't remember what these pickups actually tested at, but they're quite hot. There's no doubt that these are hot pickups, 100%. Yeah, they're hot pickups. Let's try this one. You can hear it. They're hot.
Potentially weird, so that thing says banana split.
It is 100% me. If you guys know, I had like a polka dotted Kramer. I liked my polka dotted Kramer. I sold that. This is me. I've kind of, a guitar I always wanted was was an Ibanez Gym Universe in the hydro dip. I can't afford a Gym Universe. They go for stupid money.
You were talking about the pickups being hot, Devastator said, but are they Linnell hot?
Maybe not quite that hot. For me, it's just a natural guitar. When I play this guitar, it feels natural. That being said, everyone knows I'm kind of on this Telecaster kick. Okay, I am. I'm on a Tele kick. Let me unplug this one. Let me grab my other Telecaster.
Yeah, you on a Tele kick, all right.
I am, for whatever reason, I don't question things, but right now I'm really going through a Telecaster phase. This is my Fender Standard. And this is a single coil. No bar, but this guitar is stupid too. Ooh, thank you so much. Oh, I forgot. Don't have the buttons hooked up. Thank you. I guess, can I let the cat out of the bag?
You might as well.
I put another Telecaster on layaway today. I am now officially making payments on a Pro Mod. Yeah, I played it, and it's just freaking stupid playing guitar. It's deep purple. It almost looks black, but it's a really deep purple Telecaster, and it's got a wooden pickguard, and it's been laser etched. Fender locking tuners. It's got a noiseless single coil here, and it has a humbucker right here. And it is stupid playing, and it is stupid sounding.
JR said, it says that bridge pickup is a LC super modern humbucker voiced Alnico 5, I guess, at 7.2K only. Could that be right?
For the Sire,
I believe so.
you'd have to go back and look at the. We review so many guitars, man. I don't remember.
What about the headstock?
Linnell loves these headstocks.
What about the headstock on the one you just put on layaway? It's got it too.
Yeah, it's the same headstock. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she says it looks like a penis. Mm-hmm. I don't see the resemblance.
Look, see, Devastator asked if it had the same.
I don't. But that's just me. I don't see the penis rebel. I don't see that.
Oh.
You're not running this guitar for me. I'm sorry, that is one mean-sounding Fender Telecaster. And this is a standard.
CD Nelson said the first thing you got to play on that is "Smoke on the Water." Then, right?
I guess I used to play that song, but it's the mod. It's a made in Mexico mod series. So it has the. This is a single coil noiseless, and then it has the humbucker here. I think it's the same amount of frets. It does. If Kirk is watching, it's a real Telecaster. Notice this one doesn't have the skunk stripe.
Oh, goodness.
That one does have the skunk stripe. It has fender locking tuners. It's a nice freaking guitar. And it's a purple, and it's got a little bit of metal flake in it. And when I'm playing it, I'm like, it's black. And the guy comes up and he goes, what do you think of that dark purple guitar? And I'm like, looks black. And he took his phone out, and as soon as the light hit it, it turned purple with sparkles. And I'm like, oh, that is stupid cool.
Look, I don't like tellies personally, but that one does look nice.
It is freaking cool. So when the light hits it just right, it turns purple with all these sparkles. But when the light doesn't hit it, it looks kind of black. I couldn't. It was such a good deal. Basically half off. Half off. I'm like, yeah. Basically $100 over being 50% off. Maybe because of poo-poo fender days? That's fine. Poo-poo fender more, so they lower the price more. I'll buy it. I don't care. That's me. It's a good guitar. I don't care. You can poo-poo fender all you want. It's a good playing guitar. And I'm stealing it at this price. Lower than half Devastator would be even a better deal. But on a $1,200 telly, that might be, to get that for $500 might be asking for too much.
Does it have rosewood fingerboard?
Yes, it does. It's a rosewood, and this one doesn't have rosewood. This one's Indian Laurel. Okay, that's where they claim they've saved some money. They put Indian Laurel on the standard. And this one, it's a beautiful piece of rosewood.
I should be able to find the picture. I can post it on Discord.
Yeah, she's going to post a picture of it on Discord. The picture, she showed me the picture probably 3 or 4 days ago.
The picture doesn't do it justice.
The picture doesn't, because I was like, I don't like it. But when I went to the store today, I was like, oh my freaking gosh, look at this thing.
Yesterday.
Yes, well, yeah, I went today too.
Yeah.
But I was at the store Friday, and I looked at I was like, oh my gosh, look at this Telecaster. It was like lights behind it going, oh, and I'm like, it's calling me, and she's looking at me, because we went to put money on the Kelly, okay? That was the whole point. She wants this Kelly guitar.
Where do you want me to put it?
You can put it in Discord.
I know, but where?
I don't know. I guess guitar and music equipment, if they haven't changed it.
That's where it's about to go.
Okay, it's going in guitar and music equipment so everyone can see it. But it's such an awesome. I played it at the store for 30 minutes today, or yesterday. It was yesterday. Stupid playing guitar. Yeah. I don't know what it is, guys. You go through phases. Right now, I'm on a Telecaster phase. Call them utilitarian slabs, call them whatever you want to call them. But there's just something about the shape of this body, even the sire, when it sets on me, I don't know, I'm just, it fits. Now, in a year, maybe I'll move on, I'll go back to my Super Strats. But for right now, the Telecaster really seems to be, I've been playing this and my Sire. Those are the two guitars I've been playing. This one's a little more brittle, a little bit more airy sounding because of the single coil. The new one is kind of a mix. That single coil in that mod has got a lot of butt. And in the neck position, that humbucker is so creamy sounding. It's nice. Whatever Fender did in there, it's not a huge volume jump. So I don't know if they've put some type of resistor in there to mute that humbucker down to where it's not like low volume, high volume when you switch it. But the switching is nice. It just, yeah, it's a good playing guitar. I would give me about 3 months because I'm not going to make big payments on it. We've spent a lot of money, and I didn't want to get it just for that reason because I've spent a tremendous amount of money the last 2 months. And I'm like, you know what? Again, sometimes we run across deals, and this happened. There was a Sire with P90s at Guitar Center. It was $50. I said I'd give them $5. They said, no, it's $5.50. I said, well, I'll only give you $5. And I still talk about the guitar. I should have bought the guitar. So I knew yesterday, I put the guitar back up, and she was like, well, if you want to talk to them about it, you need to carry it. Because a bunch of guys had just come in the store, and they saw the, oh,
Yeah, they were eyeballing it.
yeah, they saw, oh, it's calling, take me home. So they were like, so she was like, you need to keep that guitar with you and go up and talk to them. And they did. They took a little bit off, and just made me a stupid deal on it. So it was one of those things. And we put her Kelly on layaway too. So all things worked out. It's been a good weekend. I took Friday off of work. And I think I'm going to go to a 4-day work week at work. I think I'm going to convert. I've been doing 5/8. I've always worked 10-hour days. So I think I'm going to start doing 4 10s. And I'm going to take off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I instantly feel so much better. And I know I have another day off tomorrow. It's just, it works better for me, if that makes sense. I can't describe how much better I feel right now. That and doing the stream and coming in and talking to you guys, it really recharges me and makes me feel better. It really does. I can't imagine not doing. I know, Steve, I know. I put the bug in their ear today. I told them I'm looking for an 87, 88, 89, 90, 91 S1 generation active with a Kaler bridge. And the likelihood of me finding one of those is probably 1 in a million. I'm looking for one, Steve. They were made. PV made them. They only made it 1 year with the 2700, and they made it 3 years with the Spider. They made 2 versions, passive and active. The active with the Kaler is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. My Nitro has the S1 active neck pickup in that I ordered from PV. So I don't know what they were using down here, if it's the same pickup they put in the Nitro or not. But yeah, there was one on Reverb a couple months ago. It might still be there, that they were wanting like $1,500 or $1,600 for it in the trans shift purple red that PV did. It was like a texture finish that shifted. I don't know. Someday, but yeah, I told them at the store that'll be my next Telecaster. It's got to have the Kaler or Floyd Rose on it. That'll be my next one. Oh my gosh. Shh, Birdman. All right, guys. It has been a really, really, really fun stream tonight. We've been on for 2 hours and 16 minutes. It didn't even feel like we've been on that long. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the stream, and hopefully you guys like this kind of content where we take a pedal like this and we kind of show what all it can do. I'm a firm believer that an EQ pedal between your guitar and your amp, it does so much. It can be your boost. It can really shape your sound. Okay, it really can. It is probably the cheapest way of fixing your guitars. If you've got a guitar and you're not, I'm going to change pickups, maybe change your pickup height, change your cap in your guitar, try an EQ pedal before changing pickups in your guitar. You can buy that EQ pedal for less money than changing the pickups in your guitar. Changing a cap, stuff like that, it's pennies on the dollar. A cap is, even if you buy a stupid, I would never pay $30 for a cap, but people do. You can buy an orange drop for $6, $7. Drastically change the sound of your guitar. And if you've got a humbucker and a couple single coil guitars, you're trying to get that single coil to sound more humbuckery, an EQ pedal is the way to go. So hopefully you guys like when we do stuff like this. And this is our second night with the DJI. So please tell me your thoughts. Are these microphones keepers? No popping, no cracking. So far, on my end, they sound fantastic. So you guys tell me what you think. Do they sound good? There's no EQ on these. These are flat in the wing. So you can tweak them a little bit. So you guys give me your thoughts on those. I'm kind of curious. It's an ongoing review.
Beretta Vandy said, my S2 generation has active pups and Kaler Spider. It's not a country axe.
You've got an S2 generation? See, that's the one I'm looking for. But that's the Kaler Spider. I'm looking for the S1 with the 2700. I know they only made it for like 6 months because that was late production on the first shipment, second shipment of 2700s. They couldn't make any more due to the lawsuit. That's when they went to the Spider. But from what I understand, about 100 got out of the factory with the 2700. Yeah, please correct me if I'm wrong, because I know you were an employee there at the time.
CD said, thought they sounded pretty good all night. Steve said, could use a little EQ tweaking, but they sounded pretty good. Devastator said, sounds good to me.
All right, Steve, get with me on Discord and let me know where you think it needs tweaking, and we can make a tweak in the wing rack, and we'll see what it sounds like on the next stream.
Talking about your microphone.
Yep, EQ microphone. Everybody has got a little tweak on the microphone. This is completely flat. I haven't tweaked anything. So this is what they sound like. Mic right into the board to the interface. So I'm sure we can do some tweaks. I think the only thing on it is a high cut and a low cut. That's it. And those are frequencies that the voice band doesn't pick up anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Beretta Vandy said you are correct about the 2700s.
Yeah, they did make many of them. About 100, something like that, 150. I can't remember. I had spoke to Peavy back in the day about it when I ordered the pickup, because they asked me why I wanted the pickup, and I told them what I had, and they were graciously sent me that active Telecaster pickup to put in my Nitro. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So if anyone runs across one with a 2700, there's a buyer right here for one. They're stupid, yeah, exactly, legal issues, which was a complete BS, because they were both Fulcrum-based bridges, and if it was a legal thing, Beretta Vandy, they would have allowed to put Floyd Rose licensed, but they didn't. The whole thing was they had to stop producing that bridge. It didn't matter. They wanted the Spider, which was more Floyd Rose based, which that right there should tell you that whole lawsuit was complete BS. Because if it was about a licensing thing, let them license it. Even though it was a completely different Triple O. They didn't even let them put license by. They had to redesign it and come out with the Spider. It was because it was a far superior bridge. That's just, I know I'm beating a dead horse. it was just, in my opinion, a far superior bridge. You didn't have to cut the ball ends off. The string fed through the back. I have 3 guitars with 2700 killers on them. But in my opinion, the best freaking tremolo ever made. Anyway, like I said, I'm beating a dead horse. All right, guys, I want to thank everyone for coming to the stream tonight. If you left me a super chat, that's what funds the channel. That also is what allows us to buy these guitars to give away. So this is a Court 280 Select. This is the next guitar giveaway. To enter, you just have to be publicly subscribed. You need to go over to our Discord server, go into the guitar giveaway room, and fill out the really small form that Steve has set up. And that's it. You are entered to win, and when we hit 3,000 subscribers, someone will win that freaking awesome guitar. We actually did a full review on this guitar a couple months ago, and it did so well that I didn't give a guitar away for 2 months to pay the extra money to get this one. The super chats is what funds that. And I want to give back something decent. Not that, well, I think every guitar we've given away here on the channel has been a solid guitar. I just wanted to do something a little better this time. Just say thank you. You know, you all give, I give, we all give, your comments, everything. It's what makes the channel the channel. Not just Discord. The comments here and the conversations here, it's a big family. So I want to thank everyone for coming in. I couldn't do it without you guys. Without you guys, it would be a really boring 2 hours. Really would be.
CD Nelson said about 180 subs away. I keep telling everyone about the channel that I can.
Yeah, I don't think it'll take that long. You know, like I said, I think the channel grew a little slow, you know, because I don't do sponsored stuff. I don't review things that people send me. That's not what I do here. You know, I have no interest in reviewing a product that I have to do a tagline or something. And we get asked. I just don't do it. And that's nothing against any channel that does it. It's just I feel I can't be non-biased or skewed if I do that. And I'm going to qualify. Everyone is biased. Okay, I'm a hair metal player or hair guitarist. So when I play a guitar, I view it through that lens. Okay, that's how it is. If you want to hear a review on a guitar and you play country, this is probably not the channel for you because I don't play that style of music. So what makes those guitars inherently good for that music, I am not going to pick up on. Does that kind of make sense? So, yes, I'm biased as far as playability. But when we do a review, I'm looking at the fit and finish, how well the frets are dressed, how well they're leveled, do the tuners work. If you want information on a guitar, this is the best channel on YouTube to tell you how well the guitar is built. Maybe the demo section isn't for you. But if you want to know how the construction is, I think we do the most thorough, well, I know we do the most thorough review on YouTube, without a doubt. All right, guys, again, I want to thank everyone for giving the super chats, coming and hanging out on a Saturday. And we'll see everyone this coming Thursday. This Thursday, it'll just be us. So Tech Talk is every 2 weeks. So we are doing a cookout tomorrow. Brian's coming over to the house. So we're going to talk about future plans on what Tech Talk is going to be. Right now, it's twice a month on Thursdays. So we're going to find something to review for Thursday night, because Thursday night is a review night. And what Devastator said, good night, everybody. I do not have the 5-minute window set up. So this will be our second stream that when the stream ends, I hate to say it, it'll pretty much end. I will switch to the Music and Gear logo window for a couple minutes, and then, or maybe a minute, and then we'll end the stream. But I want to thank everyone for coming in. Give me some time to get the new system up and running and everything that we once had. I'm going to add, and try to make it a little better. Thanks so much, guys. Oh, it's going to play the jingle. When I hit this button, it's automatically going to play the jingle, so I apologize. At the end of the jingle, I'll hit end stream, or close to it. Night, guys.